allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We like to always start our meeting off with reading of vision, and Bloomfield's vision is engaging, educating, empowering everyone every day. Start with recognitions, and Dr. Vandere will highlight for the elementary.
Yep. So Miss McDaniel was planning on coming, but she just had a granddaughter this afternoon. So we said, you go home and send me what you got and I'll read it for you. So exciting day for her. She wanted to give an update on the church child care. So Mihaela Kripe started July 20th as our lead teacher, and she's been setting up at Aaron's Purpose and helping with hiring. We are opening Monday, August 3rd, and that is at Aaron's Purpose. I'm calling it, me personally, a soft opening. When it's with the delays we had in the child care construction facility, put us back a couple months. For if the child care is for employees' children only, there's less regulations. So partnering with Aaron's Purpose, we can start with offering for our employees' children, and we've got quite a few. That'll start there Monday, and then October 1st will be when we open the new facility, and that's when community members can join. So they've been hiring staff and working to get the teaching assistants to help with that. Then other general things she wanted to bring up, she said that the dedicated elementary teachers are spending extra time setting up their rooms for students. The new secretaries are getting established with office procedures. She wants to remind everyone the open registration is Monday, August 3rd from 12:30 to 7 p.m. People can come on site to register or do it online. And then they're all preparing for Meet the Teacher Night, which will be August 11th, Tuesday, 5 to 6:30 p.m., the day before school starts. Then she wanted to bring up the Latchkey program, which is just after school care. We are excited to offer after school care for our students Monday through Friday. Families can call the elementary office for more information, and sign up will be posted on their new Facebook page. And that'll be up soon. The page is up, but that information. Then she also wanted to give an update on the playgrounds that the PTO are doing, but I think we'll hit that later when we get to that spot. So thank you.
And middle and high school from Mrs. Evans.
Yeah, so I was just going to mention next week is kind of a crazy week for us, actually. So Monday we have our sixth grade welcome, which we're super excited about. The kids always like coming in. It kind of gets rid of those jitters on the first day. They get to come in, see their locker, learn how to open it, that sort of stuff. And then we have open registration that same day with Connie in the cafeteria. Just a good way to try to get more people to fill out all of that registration paperwork. It's just always a big question. Do I have to do that? Yes. And then Tuesday will be our freshman orientation. So that's for just the students only. They'll come in, and I've got some really awesome seniors coming in that are volunteering their time to just kind of talk through all of the things, how to get involved in school, sports, athletics, and ECAs, just clubs. And then how do I stay on top of my academics, right? So what class do I need to really take good notes in, and that sort of stuff. And then on Wednesday, our Hoosier Hills students actually start on Wednesday. They are going a week before everybody else because Hoosier Hills is on Monroe County schedule. So those students are excited to get started. I've called them to see if they needed transportation because we are providing the transportation, and all of them seem really excited to start a week early, which is encouraging. So we're excited, ready to get back.
All right. Now moving on to public comments. We have one from Samantha Edwards. So you now have the floor for 3 minutes, if you choose.
So I have 3 copies of this that I'll share with you all. So with the new Indiana laws, regarding, no cell phones in schools. I know lots of parents have been really anxious and, I'm also really anxious mostly regarding, after school activities. And I know, I've downloaded every app that the school has suggested, and those are not always updated in time. And so, it's nice to be able to get a phone call, to say, okay, oh, robotics is canceled or whatever. And back in the day, we had a payphone, and so we would just put our quarter in and be able to call during lunch. And that was, we didn't get to use it any other time. We just knew at lunch if we needed to call our parents for whatever, then we could. And the thought of all of the students being required to go to the office and bombarding the poor employees there sounds awful. They have a lot to do already, and having students go there and call their parents because they forgot their cleats for after school or whatever, I would hate to see that jumble up the office. So there's a couple of recommendations that I have. And the first one, so the state of Indiana actually has public interest payphones. The guidelines are extremely vague, and so the application is actually on the second page. And no one at the state level has said anything in regards to whether this would be applicable at schools now because of the cell phone rules. But if so, you could get a no-cost payphone at the school for no cost to you. So, and then at the end of the packet is also, there's a payphones.com. And this is not only one, but they supply phones to hospitals and jails and other organizations that require no cost phones that call out. And so for less than $400, including like the bracket that you have to have, that can be a VoIP phone. And so I made the assumption that we are using VoIP phones here. I'm not sure what the system is. But if we were not able to get the PIP phones through the state of Indiana, I would be willing to fundraise for 2 phones, maybe one in like a commons area and then maybe in the cafeteria, so people could call out. And I've put my contact information at the top of that. So if you have any questions or need any clarification, feel free to follow up with me. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
No,
Oh, and would
when
you-
you're done,
What's that?
can I have that?
He was
done?
pulling up some of the information on there. Are you?
Just
Okay.
for after meeting.
And I have another copy.
There we go. Thank you. I was
Fight
getting
over it.
stressed.
Thank you.
What to do? I appreciate you looking into this. I don't have kids in the school anymore, but
Yes, you do.
okay. I have kids in the school. But yeah, but I would be concerned. I have a student that you're waiting for activities after school, and so.
Obviously it's a new requirement, so, I'm sure there's gonna be lots of things that are gonna pop up that we find are problems or issues with it. So, looking into these kinds of solutions is a really good idea. Appreciate you bringing that to our attention.
And parents, right. Some of the parents really want to support the administration and the teachers because I know this is going to be awful for some. Thank you.
And it's not, I mean, it's all the schools, so all the parents are kind of scrambling to figure out, like, because when we were in school, we didn't have, we had the payphones, and so.
So do we know how the repairs would work for the phone?
So if we did it through the state of Indiana, I do not know. if we did it through the payphone.com, it would be through them.
All right, moving on to our routine business.
you.
Meeting minutes, June 22nd, 2026, regular meeting. June 22nd, 2026, work session, and meeting minutes for July 9th, 2026, executive session.
I make a motion, we approve.
I'll second.
All in favor? All opposed? Thank you. Next up, treasurer's report.
I'll make a motion, we approve.
Second.
All in favor? All opposed? Thank you. Personnel?
I make a motion, we approve.
We'll have to abstain from the whole thing, or we just pull Emily out?
Yeah, we should probably just pull.
So we're gonna need to pull Emily out and vote on her separate.
All right, personnel, sub, Emily Plummer.
I make a motion, we approve all personnel minus Emily Plummer.
I'll second that.
All in favor? All
Now-
opposed?
oh, Sorry.
And now,
Now I'll make
On-
a motion, we approve Emily Plummer.
I have a second.
I'll second.
All in favor? All right, donations. It looks like that this month for our donations, we have a whole list of them. They are girls basketball sponsors. They include Potts Lawn Care, BVR Roofing, Bill's Auto Repair, Helms Bulldozing, Graves Construction, White's Laundromat, Fuller Farms, Crane Credit Union, Holt Monument Works, A&A Quick Pump, Bloomtone Tanning Salon, Price Electric, On-Site Services, Hill Ag Services, Miller Welding, Rent-A-Center, Hilltop Farms Inc., English Off-Road, Jason Scomp, Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, Alexander Electric Incorporated, Reflections Salon, Bloomfit, the Hendricks family, the friends and family of Matty Patton, and the Coffin family. And also, two more is Peregrine Force, donated back-to-school items for the elementary. And the Bloomfield Athletics received a check from American Family Insurance, Andrew Sylvester Agency, for sponsorship banners.
I make a motion, we approve.
And a second,
I'll second.
all in favor? All opposed? And moving on to fundraiser requests. Looks like we have none. That was an easy one. All right. On to other business. The grants approval. Do I have a motion
I make a motion, we approve.
and a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? All opposed? And next is the PTO proposal. Dr. Vandray, would you like to touch on that before we move forward?
So as the PTO presented last month, a couple of things that they're wanting to do to our playground with money that they had fundraised is, and there's an expected completion date by the first day of school, so August 12th. They're putting pressure on themselves, but replace the shed in both the upper and lower playground, which would also include the removal of the old sheds and installation of the new sheds. And the PTO members will complete both the removal and installation, so they must be handy. Then an expected, you got to put that together. So
The sheds are handy, or
the PTO members.
or the members, for both.
And then the expected completion on this one is 2 to 3 months, installing a memorial bench with a plaque that says in loving memory of Don Hendricks, which was through family and friends donations.
I make a motion, we approve.
I'll second.
All in favor? All opposed? Thank you. The elementary handbook, second reading.
Thanks for all your work on that too.
We're happy to do it. Thanks Kayla too. Kayla had to do
Commissioner. Appreciate it.
And middle and high school student handbook, second reading.
I'll make a motion, we approve both elementary and middle and high school student handbook.
I'll second that.
All in favor? All opposed? Thank you. Middle school ELA curriculum adaptation.
I'll make a motion, we approve.
And a second.
I'll second.
All in favor? All opposed? Next is the teacher evaluation plan. Dr. Vanderay, would you like to touch on that again?
Sure. So in the 2025 legislation, the state gave permission to teachers and administrators and school boards to write their own teacher evaluation plan. Previously, it had been specific RISE 3.0 is where we're at that we had to use. So in 2025, I asked the teachers in a district discussion meeting if they had any interest in putting a committee together and working with me and the administrators to write a new evaluation plan. And they said not at that time. And basically we agreed that I would just ask them a year later. So I asked them a year later and they were interested in working on it. So teachers came up with the committee and I had the administrators there with me, and we had 3 meetings that were about 3 hours each, and we looked at some examples of other schools, and we each brought items that we wanted in the teacher evaluations. So it was quite the process, but it was collaborative, and I think we have a really good product that we're asking the board to approve. If this gets approved, then we'll consider looking at some other ones, such as like the counselor rubric, because that's different. And we can change the principal rubric if we want to as well. So we're asking that you approve a collaborative effort on the teacher evaluation plan.
So I noticed on the evaluation plan, like there was a piece on like attendance.
Mhm.
So what about like someone who has like a chronic condition and they have regular appointments? Does that reflect on their evaluation, or do they just provide documentation, or how does that work?
So on the, and this was a discussion that we had, on getting to the attendance one. So there's 2 different pieces to it. So one, just on the attendance line, the short answer to your question is it does not. What we were careful on in the wording on attendance was if there was like repeated, like what you're saying, chronic, but what we were specifically talking about is ones that don't have that type of explanation. So if let's just say it's really bad and you got cancer and you've got treatments once a month or once a week, then there's a reason why you're missing each of those. But if you're missing every Friday and there's not that added explanation, then the teachers and the administrators agreed that you should be marked down on your attendance. So if there's a regular pattern that doesn't have that explanation that we agree is needed. So on the attendance metric specifically, the example you gave, no, it would not have an effect. However, we always want to do student-based decisions. So there's other places in the evaluation plan, like there should have been in a previous evaluation plan, that if a teacher is not effective in that academic growth that we want, then it should show up there. So if somebody misses so many days that they're not effective in helping our students grow, then it should show up there. And if it's due to the chronic absences of a medical illness, it's not going to show up in the attendance, but it might show up somewhere else, because the administrators do have to look at that, student first decision. So, but there's so many metrics on here that if somebody is in approaching expectations area, but they're meeting expectations in the rest of them, then they're still going to have a quality evaluation. And the ultimate goal of any evaluation plan is for the administrators to point out to the teacher where they want to see them grow and work with them on how they can grow. So ultimately, we believe that this evaluation plan opens up for a more easy to understand from the teacher standpoint, easier to identify metrics for the administrator that leads to a better conversation during the post-evaluation meeting. So hopefully that answers your question plus more.
Thanks.
All right, can I get a motion?
A motion we approve.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor? All opposed? Thank you. Next is rigor, relevance, and relationship curriculum adaptation. Again, Dr. Van Der Ray.
Yep. So just like with the middle school English curriculum that you approved moments ago, when it comes to curriculum, we want, or it's legally, the school board has to approve every curriculum we use. Technically, that's for students, and this is based on teachers and what we're going to try and do with our professional development throughout the year. When we did a whole planning year with the Next Generation School Improvement Grant, one of the things that we were working on was having a very specific professional development plan that leads to growth, which is what professional development is supposed to do. So we came up with this framework, this instructional framework for teachers. So while technically I would say you don't have to approve it, I believe it's a good idea for the school board to approve it so that everybody's on the same page of what we're trying to accomplish together, K to 12 with our teachers. So the instructional framework focuses on getting the whole district aligned on the same page, being clear, coherent, and then something that we can sustain. Every year in the past, professional development has just been whatever the plan was for that year. And many times the plan was one day for professional development on this, a different day for professional development on something else. So the 3 R's, as what this is called, is based on rigor, which is making sure that what is being taught is pushing the students at the appropriate level. Then relevance is not, what's misunderstood about relevance is it's not, oh, you like playing baseball, so we're going to have you write a story about a baseball player. That's not the relevance that we're going to dive into in professional development. Relevance is, how is what is being taught going to relate to the students so that they understand what's happening in their current world or the future. So when they leave us, whether they go into a career or continue their education, how is what we're teaching relevant to that or to other things that they're studying right now? And then the relationship piece is something that I think we got a lot of teachers that are great at this, and that is building a trust-based relationship, because students, there's always some students that will learn in any environment, but the majority of students need to know that they trust the teacher, that the teacher is there to invest in them, and when that happens, students give more effort. So again, there's students that are on the opposite ends of the spectrum, but the majority of the students need that trust-based relationship there before they give their full effort. So that's part of the professional development that we want to focus on. There's another piece to the professional development that isn't in this curriculum, but something else we're going to work on is active engagement. And that is making sure that when an administrator walks into the classroom at any time, every student is actively engaged in the lesson. And so, making sure that we're using the proper depth of knowledge questioning techniques, hitting 1, 2, 3, and 4 for the different levels. So that's what I'm asking you to approve this evening.
All right, do you have a motion?
I make a motion we approve.
And a second? All in favor? All opposed? All right, next we have the resolution to reduce average daily balance in Northwest Bank Business Analyst checking account. Michelle, would you like to touch on that?
Yes, so every year or so, I sit down with
our Northwest Bank rep from the Indianapolis office. And we go over all of our accounts. We go over our, what we're doing month to month financially. And one of the things that she brought up is, we have our checking account and we have our savings account. And you guys see those bank recs every month. Only our savings account earns interest. Our checking account does not. And right now we have the daily balance of our checking account is $1.4 million. And then everything else is in our savings account. And she made the suggestion that if we would, reduce that balance in the checking account to 500,000 every day, that we could earn up to an extra $1,000 a month in interest. I shared that sheet with you. And as I looked at it, I said, instead of 500,000, why not 400,000? And then that transfers a whole other $1 million that we would earn interest on every month. So that would still be, $1,050 extra a month in interest. So what I'm asking with this resolution is for the board to grant me permission to work with the bank to change that daily balance in our checking account to the 400,000. I know you guys see the accounts. You see where the transfers happen automatically. The bank makes sure nothing, is overdrawn. It's just another way for us to earn an extra $1,000 a month that we can put towards, the success of our students.
Thank you.
You're just awesome.
Do I have a motion
I motion we approve.
and a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
She's like, we can do
Opposed?
better. We can do better.
And next is the corporate authorization resolution regarding Northwest bank accounts. Again, Michelle?
So also sitting in that meeting, as you know, Michelle Emmons has been here probably a year and a half now. We realized that I'm still the only signer for us on Northwest, and we're just putting Michelle on there. I have no plans to leave. I don't plan on anything happening, but always expect the unexpected. And so then if something happens that I'm not able to sign things for Northwest Bank, Michelle would be able to sign them.
Fair enough. Do I have a motion?
I move we approve.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor? All opposed? Next, the corporate authorization resolution, elementary ECA account. Do I have a motion
I motion we approve.
and a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? All opposed? Next is the let's see, corporate authorization resolution, ECA account. Breakfast lunch prices 26-27 school year. Do I have a motion
Motion we approve.
and a second? All in favor? Next is the budget workshop. Michelle?
That time of year, guys. Good evening. So welcome to our 2027 budget presentation. First, our calendar. Tonight, July 30, 2026 is our budget workshop, and I am going to ask the board to approve me to be able to advertise for our budget. August 3rd, that's Monday. I have to have it uploaded by August 17th, which is 10 days before the meeting on the 27th. I am hoping to have it uploaded on Monday, but this is year one of the state's great rollout of a new budget program called Budget 2.0. They're very creative with their names, and I am hoping that everything goes right, but I can't promise everything will go right. So I promise it will be uploaded by the 17th. Then the next board meeting is August 27th. That will be our public hearing on the budget. And then on September 24th is the board meeting when the board will adopt the budget as well as the capital projects plan and the bus replacement plan. So we're going to hit on our major funds, the education fund, operations fund, capital project, bus replacement, debt service, and rainy day. So education, we don't have any control over how much we get. It's based on our ADM. This is kind of just a history of where our ADM has been for the last several years. So our beginning cash balances. Well, the difference kind of went down, but if you go back one screen, you'll see that we were 30 some students down from one year to the next. And that's kind of why the cash balance went down. So assumptions when we planned for our budget, I should say 27 at the top. Utilities, they'll increase by probably 10% every year. I know our sewer bill just recently went up 6% every month. So the others will go up 7 to 9%. Property and casualty increase, we took a big hit. Our workers' comp policy jumped by a lot, like $10,000. So ADM is forecasted in revenue projections to decrease by at least 3 students. I would love if we would only go down 3 students. That would make me happy. I would love to go up by 10 students even more. So efforts are being made to maintain reasonable, responsible staffing levels for positions that are supported by the education fund. Sometimes we have someone retire, or if people leave, we don't replace them because we're trying to be fiscally responsible with our staffing. The impact of the circuit breaker. At one time it was 78,000, but as you can see, it was 248,000 and probably going to be about there again this year. So our education fund, I work on an 18-month schedule, all of 25, first 6 months of 26. Our revenue was $13,409,018, and our expenditures were $13,387,018. Obviously, we don't request a tax levy for education fund because it is based solely on student. Our debt service expenditures the last 18 months, $2,460,000. Our revenue was $630,495. We didn't have cash balances. As you notice, our request to approve to advertise, it's going to be $2,172,505. That's 85.95 cents. So in 26, we requested 0.5905 and received 0.3637. As you know, we're taking on new debt at the end of 26 for some, improvements and things like that. So that is why our request is going to be for more, a lot more in 27. Operations fund. And this is where we're going to try to start fixing things with, the bond projects that we're doing is trying to balance this out. Our revenue was $4,749,305,000. Expenditures were $6,077,198. So our request for our levy in 27 is going to be $2,327,893, and that works out to 0.9209. In 26, we requested $1.267. We got 63 cents. And our rainy day fund, we're staying at the 1.2 million. We've been there for a couple years now. Expenditures, we're allowed to expend 600,000. We are not going to expend it. That's our hope. We want to keep our balance in there. So we're not asking for any levy to put into our rainy day. So the PCAP is our permission to advertise for our education fund is nothing. Debt service is 0.8595. Operations is 0.9209, and nothing for our rainy day. You have any questions?
I mean, we can request whatever, but the state ultimately decides what we
Yes.
get, right?
And what we are requesting is as much as we can possibly request, with the knowledge that we're not gonna get everything we ask for. So we advertise as high as is legally possible.
So when do they answer you as far as what they give you?
So that will come in late October, early November. I will get my 1782 notice, and it will tell us what we can expect.
Thank you, Michelle. Next is a permission to advertise the 2027 Budget Capital Project Fund Plan and Bus Replacement Plan. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion that we advertise.
And a second?
A second.
All in favor? All right, on to reports. Superintendent.
So I was planning on giving an update on the child care facility project. Ms. McDaniel had updates in hers, so not really too much more to add to that. But I will say that a couple days ago I asked where we were on spots filling up and available spots, and we're within a few spots of being full, is what I was told a couple days ago. Obviously that changes daily, but I also wanted to take some time to thank the community for the Feed the Children summer program that we have. Today I was over there and helped hand out lunches, and there were about 80 kids that went through there, which was absolutely awesome. But the only way it happened all summer, and there's 2 more summer feedings that they're planning on doing, is through the work of our community. So Brenda Flanagan has really been the lead person on organizing all of it. And of course, she was there today, and she's been there almost every single day. And she's helped solicit a lot of donations. And so I know we've been posting it on Facebook, but I also just wanted to bring it up in a board meeting to thank Bloomfield Makery. Did a sponsorship of banners and yard signs. The Lighthouse Custom Meats did a donation. The First Christian Church, Pam Todd, Bloomfield American Legion, the Tulip Church of God, the Bloomfield Rotary, Allen Chapel Church, Antioch Christian Church, the Greene County Foundation had a grant that they received. The Rolling Hill Spring Walnut Grove Spring Water, Happy Mats, Bloomfield First Baptist Church, Allen Chapel Church. Let's repeat. Sorry, RMC had a community grant that they got as well. The Girl Scout Troop 2065 has been helping with evening distribution. Rebuilt Ministries has been helping with evening distributions. The Holy Name Catholic Church, the Methodist Church, the First Presbyterian Church, Casa Sabia, Bloomfield Pizza Hut, Ruler, Bloomfield American Legion Riders, Holt Monuments, Bloomfield Dairy Queen, which was today, and Pizza Hut. So I just wanted to publicly thank them again as we continue to try and thank them on social media as well. So it's an awesome community supporting our kids, and we really appreciate it.
All right, thank you. The next up is board member comments and items for future agendas.
I just want to say that I wanted to kind of give a shout out to all of our staff members and students that had roles in Shawnee over the summer. I think that's so cool that kids can go and see their classmates and their teachers on stage, and it was a great season. So thank you, guys.
I'll say I went into Aaron's Purpose yesterday, not expecting to see what I saw, because we'd actually planned on using Aaron's Purpose there still on Monday nights, but we're gonna have to find another location. I mean, which is awesome because it just looks like it's a full-on daycare in there. It's really cool to see it like unfold, and they were all in there just happy and working, and she's done a really great job of doing all the things that she's doing over there. So it looks great.
How many kids do we know right now?
He's offering up his garage.
Are you looking for a part-time job?
No, I just was curious.
I'm not
Get
sure
rid
how
of as
he was
many as I
asking
can.
you
Is he
how many,
talking about Monday night or is he?
Oh.
I'm talking about
childcare?
the childcare.
no,
Oh.
childcare.
So, I don't know the exact number. I know a couple days ago they said we were 1 short of our capacity for infants and 2 short for our capacity of toddlers. But I think somebody withdrew, so it might change that. We also had a need for 3-year-olds, and so we're opening up another room that's going to be inside the school. So I don't have the exact number, but and then starting over here, there's a half dozen children that'll start over there. So we'll have half of our staff. Um, we're hiring for August 3rd, but then later we'll hire for October 1st, the rest of the staff.
Yeah, it looks great.
All right, our next meeting will be Thursday, August 27th, here at the High School Media Center. And this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.